The Irish rap group Kneecap has left the whole of the pro-Israeli political class in the US and the UK absolutely rattled. Ever since they criticized the rogue regime of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. Ever since this brave Irish band flashed those powerful messages at the Coachella Music Festival, the whole world has ganged up against them. I will establish in this video how efforts are being made to punish Kneecap for simply raising their voice against the ongoing Holocaust of Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. That is the only crime. The only crime is that they opposed an ongoing genocide. They criticized a rogue regime for killing babies and children, 100 of them every day. That's the number of children and babies that this rogue regime of war criminal Netanyahu is killing in Gaza every day. Earlier, people like Sharon Osbourne only called for the revocation of their work visa in the US. But now the political might in the UK appears to have swung into action to have this ban cancelled and even punished. Politicians in the UK are now discussing a comment this band made in 2023 about killing Tory MPs. No one took notice of that comment up until now, but just because of Kneecap's protest against Israel's genocidal campaign, they must now face the wrath of the political class funded and controlled by the Israeli lobby. The UK Parliament was so incensed this week that the Speaker allowed MPs to ask urgent questions on Tuesday on this topic. Just see the kind of questions that were raised. One MP is asking the organizers of Glastonbury to not provide this band a platform this year. Another minister is announcing the launching of an investigation by the counter-terrorism police. Wow.
We're now going on to the urgent question. I'm going to go to the urgent question with Mark Francois. Let the front benches clear, please. Can't stand that. Right. Mark Francois, urgent question.
Thank you for granting this urgent question. To ask the Secretary of State for the Home Department if she will make a statement on the alleged incitement to murder members of Parliament by the Irish Republican group Kneecap.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the right honourable gentleman for his urgent question? Let us never forget that we lost two members of this House, Joe Cox and Sir David Amess, in tragic circumstances. Both Joe and Sir David were passionate advocates for their constituents who cared deeply about a range of issues and embodied the finest democratic qualities, traditions and values of this House. I know the thoughts of the whole House will be with their families today and every day. Now, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate the Home Secretary's words and fully condemn the comments that have been made. Remarks like these are dangerous and irresponsible, and this government utterly rejects the views expressed by this group. Let me be crystal clear. Political intimidation and abuse have no place in our society. Now, I know the House will want immediate answers on this issue, but as the policing minister said yesterday in relation to the urgent question on the Headingley case, the desire for immediate answers is often constrained by the obligation that we have as ministers and as members of this House not to do or say anything that will interfere with what is a live police investigation. As members know, the investigation and prosecution of criminal offences are a matter for the police and the Crown Prosecution Service to determine, and they are operationally independent of government. It is important that the police are allowed to carry out their ongoing investigations free from political interference. However, for the benefit of the House, let me recap what the Metropolitan Police have themselves said about these reports. We have been made aware of the video and it has been referred to the Counter-Terrorism Internet Referral Unit for assessment and to determine whether any further police investigation may be required. Whilst I will not comment further on this specific case, the safety and security of members of this House and all those who serve in elected office is an issue to which I attach the utmost seriousness, as does the Home Secretary and as does Mr. Speaker. Elected representatives at all levels and across all parties must be able to perform their duties safely and without fear. And through the Defending Democracy Task Force, we are driving a whole-of-government effort to ensure that that is the case. The Task Force has recently agreed a programme of work to tackle the harassment and intimidation of elected members, and the Task Force is also supporting the Speakers' Conference, which is addressing these issues. Those of us who attend this place are all too aware of the devastating consequences of violence against our colleagues and friends. We may not always agree, but if there is one universal truth we would all subscribe to, it is surely that our politics is better when it is conducted respectfully and safely, and I hope and trust that that will have the support of members right across this House. Mr. Speaker, the Home Secretary and I condemn the comments that have been made, and we will work tirelessly to ensure the safety and security of all those who step forward to serve in public office.
Mark Francois.
Mr. Speaker, two MPs, Joe Cox and Sir David Amess, have been murdered within the last decade in the line of duty meeting their constituents. Frankly, sir, that could have been any of us. So I should like to ask the Home Secretary, albeit in absentia today, four very specific questions. One, how long is this counter-terrorist police inquiry likely to take? The video plainly speaks for itself. How could the words, "kill your local MP," possibly have been taken out of context? Two, we now know Kneecap applied for a £14,000 government grant during the previous Parliament, which was vetoed, quite rightly, by the Right Honourable Member for North West Essex. Kneecap then appealed against this decision as discriminatory. The incoming Labour government concluded fighting the appeal would be not in the public interest. Can I ask the Home Secretary to tell the House which government minister approved that absurd decision to effectively surrender to Kneecap over this, and why? Third, Kneecap are still booked to appear at Glastonbury, the organisers of which incidentally received £1.5 million of taxpayers' subsidy over COVID. So does the Home Secretary agree it would be unconscionable for Kneecap to appear, at least whilst the police inquiry is underway? Kneecap should surely be barred today. To be crystal clear, does the government agree with that or not? Yes or no? Finally, Kneecap have now offered a crocodile tears apology to Katie Amess. Haven't that family been through enough already? So as it's within the Home Secretary's gift, will she now seriously reconsider their request to examine potential failures by Prevent, which may have contributed to David's death, via the auspices of the Southport inquiry? Absolutely. Isn't that the least we could do? Thank you.
Look, I will never condone the call for violence against anyone, let alone MPs. My only anger here is at the double standards of these MPs. In 2011, a man called Jeremy Clarkson, a BBC presenter, a high-profile BBC presenter who was more popular than the Kneecap of 2023, made similar comments on a much bigger platform, the BBC. Now, reacting to the strike by public sector workers, then he has said this on the BBC.
I would take them outside and execute them in front of their families. I mean, how dare they go on strike when they've got these gilt-edged pensions that...
Did the UK Parliament hold an urgent session to discuss Clarkson's call for the execution of striking workers in front of their family members? No. Did the UK police launch an investigation against Clarkson under the terrorism law? Obviously no. Clarkson had apologized. BBC had apologized. And so has Kneecap. Why two different reactions to similar comments? The only difference here is that Kneecap's action has brought global spotlight on the genocide being committed by Israel in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. More recently, a war criminal called Gideon Saar was the guest-in-chief for David Lammy and Keir Starmer in the UK. This guy has been proudly flaunting his role in the Holocaust of Palestinians in Gaza. Kneecap had called for violence, but this Israeli foreign minister is supervising the barbaric murder of 100 children and babies every day. Far from arresting him, the UK government rolled out the red carpet for this war criminal. And of course, there was no outrage in Parliament. Just one MP. One MP asked about this war criminal's visit, and see how Starmer replied with total disdain.
Last week, humanitarian law organisations applied for an arrest warrant for Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar over alleged war crimes in Gaza, including the siege of Kamal Adwan Hospital and the torture of its director, Dr. Hussam Abu Safir. Yet the red carpet was rolled out. Saar has justified blocking vital humanitarian aid into Gaza, backed the illegal annexation of Palestinian land, and rejected a Palestinian state. The Prime Minister is a human rights lawyer, so surely he knows that the UK has a legal duty to uphold international law. Why then did he block the arrest of an unindicted war criminal?
I didn't.
Has there been any outrage in the Parliament over the UK government's participation in Israel's genocidal campaign? This is what journalist Matt Kennard wrote yesterday. He wrote, and I quote, "Britain is still sending daily spy flights over Gaza to gather intelligence for Israel on its imprisoned, starved population." This one was in the sky over Gaza last night as Israel drone bombed the aid flotilla in international waters. ICC must intervene as a matter of urgency. End quote. In Clarkson's case, the union had called for his sacking in 2011. As expected, Clarkson, who presented the most popular global TV show for the BBC, The Top Gear, did not lose his job. But chances are that Kneecap will be cancelled in and around the UK. That's the power of the Israeli lobby in the UK. The disease that gripped the US politics for ages is fast infecting British politics too. The Israeli influence is simply spiraling out of control, and that should frighten every single person in the UK. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.